Hey. Hey, good evening. We're going to get going. We are, just so everybody knows, we're going to try to record this. We had a lot of parents give a call and said that they couldn't make it out. So what we decided to do was record this as we go along. I really wanted to get this meeting done before a lot of people went on vacation. And then we have a lot of people, we do it in August. We missed a lot of people because a lot of people came back from vacation a little bit later, so they always missed the meeting. So this year, what we decided to do was do it a little earlier and also record it. So those that don't know, I'm Greg Dennis. I'll be entering my 23rd year at the summit this coming fall. Beth Simmons, the assistant AD, I think Beth's going into year 26. Amber Gherkin, our athletic trainer, Amber's going into year 16. Oh, damn. 19. Micah Montecarlo, the admin in the athletic office. Micah's going into year 5. And Chris Witter. Chris is our middle school athletic director and also handles K-6. I can't even put in the years, how many years Chris has been here, because he's been a parent, and now Chris is taking over the middle school athletic director, and this is he'll be going into year 2. And a big part of our athletic program is Coach Sabinski, who handles our strength and training. And I'm going to start this off by bringing Coach Sabinski up to just say a couple words about his program. Yes.
Sorry. Evening. Mike Shabinsky. It's my 3rd year here. I've been doing coaching, what I do, for 45 years now. I have the greatest job for our athletic department. I have a nice little facility down over in the gym. I've got great kids to work with. Your sons and daughters are great kids, very respectful. Most part, they work pretty hard. My job is to push them a little bit harder, okay? And if I do that, then they stay away from Amber, okay? In the summer, I run a morning workout program for our athletic department. It's open to all the high school kids. I do have some junior high kids that show up, and that's kind of up to the maturity level of your junior high student. Some kids are a little bit more advanced in the 7th and 8th grade than other kids. Some will work hard and some just want to play. It's not a play, it's a workout thing, okay? There's 2 weight training sessions. The first workout is 8 o'clock and it runs to about 9. Then at 9 o'clock, we come down here to Williams Field and we do what I call SPARK, which is speed, power, agility, reaction, quickness training drills that are geared towards athletic competition. And then we do a little water break and then a little conditioning and then they're done for the day. They can go shopping, they can go to the pool, they can go to their other practices. So encourage your kids to come to those. There's also a second lift at 10 o'clock if they were unable to make the 8 o'clock lift. It's free. It is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday mornings, 8 to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whenever they get done. If you have a son or daughter that plays a sport here in high school, they will probably see me during the season, okay? That's the most important time to train, actually. When do you lose games? In season, okay? When do you get hurt? Most injuries occur during the season. So that's the most important time for your son or daughter to be working out, is in season. Now, some of you your kids play year-round, club, select, travel. If they're doing that, that's great. Those programs work primarily on skill development and then playing, but they're not training, okay? So they need to come, if they're not playing in season, let me just back up a minute, I'm sorry. Once they're done with their high school season, take a little time off, start their club season, and then try and get them, encourage them to come see me in the off season when they're playing their club stuff twice a week. That's all it takes. Half hour, 45 minutes. That will cut down on a lot of injuries that your child will occur playing club year round, okay? Everybody understand that? So you're training, but you're still playing your club, which is great. I'm not trying to take anything away from playing club and travel teams, but get in the weight room a little bit, okay? Get stronger so you're not susceptible to those injuries, which do occur, okay? And you'll be a better athlete because you're stronger. Stronger athlete is a better athlete. Write that down. Yes, ma'am.
What are your hours for, obviously, summer is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday?
Yes.
And an off-season would be...
During the school year, yeah. I set up a calendar each season, so I'll have one in the fall, one in the winter, and one in the spring. And I set that up according to the sports that are offered that season. So they get priority. And then I also have a group or a time set apart. It's usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3:30 to 4:15 that they can come down, all the other sports. And I'll have football kids working with soccer kids, working with volleyball kids, so it's kind of a collection. Good question. Okay? And then make sure they eat and rest. All right? Anything else? Thanks for sending your kids to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
One thing I want to mention while Coach is going to his seat, you know, there are approximately, I have the number, somebody just sent me the number, 1,439 high schools in the state of Ohio. And, you know, this year, I don't know if anybody noticed or saw, but Summit was listed as the number 16 athletic program in the state of Ohio. I think that's an accomplishment that, you know, part having a strength and conditioning here, the level of coaches we have, and I can't say enough about the student athletes that we have here to make that there something that we accomplished. Hopefully, you know, next season, next year, we can move that number from 16 down to the single digits. You know, that's a hope that we have, but that is something that, you know, I am ultra proud of our student athletes and our coaches for achieving that. I'm going to speed along because we have a guest here tonight to talk about a new app that we're going to apply. At this time, Amber Gherkin.
Hello, everyone, and those listening at home. I'm Amber, as Greg already mentioned. This fall will be year 19 for me. I obviously love it here, working with your student athletes and all of our coaches. Just a few tidbits on my end. I'm here to facilitate doctor's appointments, helping your student athletes stay on the field with Coach Shavinsky's help. Email is a great way to contact me. I check it one of the first things I do in the morning, even though I don't come in until the afternoon. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. And then texting or calling is also an option as well. But email is actually probably the most efficient. Doctor's note, so if your child sees a doctor, they need a note in writing from that doctor to get cleared back to their sport. let's see, Ohio High School physical is the only physical that allows your child to participate in athletics, and those expire every 13 months. So in Magnus, you'll see that it says it'll be a year from the date, but that's just to give you that buffer to make sure you make that appointment before it expires. Once that 13 months hits, your child can no longer continue without that updated form, and that is an Ohio High School rule. We also are offering physicals at Dr. Amanda Goodale's, our medical director's office this year. There's 3 dates there, and Beacon has 2, I think the first one is this weekend, and then maybe the following weekend. There is flyers that were emailed out, and I believe on our website for those information on that, if you need that. And money from those physicals actually comes back to Summit Sports Medicine. I have a fellow in the athletic training room that's learning sports medicine and comes on Tuesdays to help our student athletes. The Flannery Gym is on a badge system, and all students, I think 5th grade and up, have badges, and I can program their badge to get access to come down into the Flannery. So we can't prop doors open for security reasons or any of that stuff, so I can program your student's badge. It starts at 2:30, Monday through Friday, to get into the building to be able to see me. But there's usually somebody around. Usually Coach Shabinsky's down letting people into after school down at the school. But the best way for them to get into the building is getting their badge programmed. You can email me that, or I'll have a QR code. There's a QR code on the outside of the door. I think it's outside of Mr. Montecalvo's office as well. It's kind of I'm in the basement of Flannery. And it's kind of a first come, first serve, like when if whoever gets there first kind of gets who gets what, unless they need to get on a bus to get to their game or to get to the complex. Then I try to give those people a little bit quicker access to the front of the line to make sure they don't miss that complex bus. Concussions, those are always a big topic. We do a return to play protocol here, and we progress them back. It's a graduated return to play. It's an Ohio law to do so. I work with a school to give accommodations for the students in the building. Me and Mr. Pope and Ms. Duggan work together to make sure that they're not getting too far behind, but that they're also not getting forced to be pushing their brains and then not healing. And then they do need a clearance to return to play. So once they leave the athletic training room and go see a physician, that physician has to be the one that clears them. I can no longer be the one that clears them once they go outside of sports medicine, like my office. Yeah, and I work with Coach Shabinsky a lot to try to discover trends and work on ideas for different prevention. There's a few little tidbits, but if there's any other questions, any questions right now? Okay, if not, let me know.
Thanks, Amber. Some of you have heard this from me for several years, as long as you've been here, but I'll just start here. OHSAA, Summit is a part of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, which is the governing body for athletics from grades 7 through 12. We are fortunately one of the schools that follow all the rules and have not had any violations over our time here, so that's a pride thing. Something new this year, we're removing our middle school from OHSAA. The reason we're removing the middle school is we would like for our middle school kids to be able to play outside of Summit. If we follow the OHSAA rules, if one of our students plays a club sport, they're not permitted to play on a Summit team. So we would like for our kids to be able to still play club and also participate here at Summit. So it's and also not being a part of OHSAA allows us to field more teams. We're able to field teams now by adding kids that don't actually go to Summit, that are coming into Summit the following year to help field some of our 7th and 8th grade teams. So I don't think we're missing anything by not being a part of OHSAA at that young level. I think it's more beneficial to us as a school. Summit is a part of the MVC, Miami Valley Conference. The Miami Valley Conference, schools like Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, Cincinnati Country Day, Cincinnati Christian, New Miami, Lockland, Norwood, Miami Valley Christian Academy, Seven Hills, St. Bernard, North College Hill, Clark Montessori, Purcell Marion, and Roger Bacon. The thing that I love about the MVC, it's one of the most unique conferences, not just in Ohio, but all. We are a mix. We cross a lot of barriers. We cross the race, economics, and religion barrier. Some of our kids, if they didn't play in the MVC, would not have some of the interactions. And we also have some of the students from the other schools that if they weren't a part of the MVC, wouldn't have the type of interaction with our kids. So that's something that I can't even put into words how good it is for our kids to be able to have those interactions with other students that are not like them. The MVC right now, I think, has 6 or 8 teams still competing, and that's in baseball, that's in track and field. It's one of the best conferences, I think, in Ohio, small school conferences in Ohio. So I am, for Summit, I think it's one of the best conferences we can be in. Athletic handbook. We are in the process now of updating our athletic handbook. Our athletic handbook will be online by next Thursday with all the updates. I would really recommend that everyone take some time and read that athletic handbook. Transportation. We are discussing transportation. We are, at this point, a lot of our transportation athletic events for certain teams has been a one-way transport. We're going to continue as much as possible to do a one-way transport. We had a meeting yesterday, and anything under 10 students, they're going to have to do a self-transport to and from athletic events. We have found that we have been spending a lot of money in transportation, and a lot of the transportation, taking a bus 2 ways, we've been bringing buses back with maybe 2 or 3 kids on it. And that bus has to go to the athletic event, it sits, and then after the game, there's only 2 or 3 kids getting on that bus. So we're gonna, this year we're gonna try to, anything under 10, do a self-transport. And, the thing about it, if it doesn't work out, it's something that we can look at, we're gonna evaluate it, we're gonna follow it closely, and if it doesn't work out, we will move to, see what other solutions we have out there. We are talking in conversation about purchasing vans. So if we look to purchase the vans, and that will take care of that under 10 number. So those are all things that we're in conversation about now that we should have more information on, at least I'm hoping by the fall. Any questions on that? Yes?
Question about transportation, but it's not busing. It's more about the kids getting out of the student lot on time, the kids getting to the complex on time. If they don't get an early dismissal for an event at the complex, they get stuck for at least 15 minutes when they get held up for middle school traffic. And then it's a good 20, 25 minutes to the complex during the rush hour.
I agree. So
I would really like the athletic department to seriously take into consideration the kids that are going to the complex getting early dismissal on days that they have a home game, which is not been the case this year.
that's a good point. I think in terms of that, we have tried, once we are notified from the coach about an early dismissal, and to that, we've had times this year where we're getting a call at 2 o'clock for early dismissal. So I think what we need to do, Micah, is take more onus on that, and instead of waiting on the coach to submit it, we'll submit the early dismissal on our own to keep that from happening. I know getting out of this circle is hard, And then we don't want the kids speeding, so I guess we do have to accommodate for that. So that's a good point, and that's something that we're definitely going to go in the direction of doing starting this fall.
I appreciate that one because
I get it.
if you're playing soccer and the field's right here, it's a different story than if you're trying
To get to the complex.
to that day. I mean, I know for senior night, everybody was rushing in going, oh my gosh, it took 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what our kids do every day.
Yeah.
I appreciate that being taken into consideration by everyone.
In consideration. The other part about that is that's something I'm going to meet with our new upper school director, and that's something I'm going to make sure he and Mr. Pope are on board with as well. Mhm. You know, expectations of parents. You know, I will be one of the first to say we are very fortunate to have the community and parent base that we have. You know, I go to other schools for different events, and it's a lot different than it is here at Summit. You know, when I hear people complain about our parents and whatnot, I think about what I witnessed with a lot of their parents. But with that being said, we do have expectations of parents. Is the next expectation that, you know, our parents don't criticize officials, coaches, or participants. Please keep in mind that we are very successful and a very proud community. And that's what we want to display when we're out in public. You know, it's always good when I can get an email about the behavior of our student athletes. Like, hey, your kids were awesome, your kids were great. You know, and every now and then we get these emails, you know, about our parents, you know. So that's something that we are working. We are a school with leaders of character. And that's the expectation of our students. It's the expectation of our parents. You know, fortunately, we haven't had parents drug out of games or thrown out of games like I've seen at some other places, so I commend you guys for that. We do have a bad officiating shortage in the state of Ohio. And one of the things that keeps coming back when we talk to officials, assigners, about why they're walking away, it's because of parents. It's because they, you know, hear parents in the stands, you know, saying whatever, and a lot of them don't have thick skin. So they, you know, they would rather walk away from it than to deal with it. You know, we were at a school and we had a referee stop the game to throw a parent out. And the first thing I say to myself is, damn, I'm glad I had to go through that with my parents. But I see it happen. So I just want to make sure that we all understand the expectations of being a parent. And hey, I know sometimes officials are bad. They're bad. And what some people look at as a good official, we look at as a bad official. But we're in this shortage right now. So every official we get, you know, we make sure we get them water, and after some games we give them a snack because we want them to come back. We want them to say, hey, I want to go to Summit. There are some schools that officials are refusing to go to now, you know, and thank God we're not one of them. So if you're sitting next to somebody in the stands, and just say, hey, you know, it's a kid's game. Let the kids enjoy the game, and why don't we just enjoy the game as spectators? There's an expectation in the MVC. Let the players play, let the coaches coach, let the officials officiate, and for the fans, remember, it's just a game. You know? Any questions on that? NIL. So the state of Ohio has adopted the NIL. The good thing about it for us at Summit, as a school, we don't have to worry about NIL. So what happens with NIL, that's a situation between a parent, a collaborative, and the company. We have no involvement in the NIL. We're not responsible for setting up NILs. We're not responsible for referring people to kids for NIL. We're totally out of it. The only thing that I suggest that's different than OHSAA, OHSAA permits us from talking to kids about about NIL deals. My approach is a little bit different. If a student is going to receive NIL, I would appreciate it that they would notify the school before they accept the deal. That's opposite of what OHSAA says, but I feel that way because there are NIL deals that a kid can take in high school that will permit them from receiving NIL when they get to college. That person, that's the collaborative, they're only thinking about themselves. And they will sign a kid to a deal, so when that kid gets to college, the NIL money is coming to that collaborative instead of going to that kid. And, you know, I think as a school, that's one OHSAA rule that we are going to be in violation of, because I don't want to see one of these kids, you know, 3 or 4 years from now in a bad situation. I talked to Ms. Sheese about it, and she's in agreement. That's one rule that we will not obey with OHSAA. We want to be the first point of contact when a student receives NIL. Not that we're going to say yeah or nay, but we want to be able to point out what's going to happen 3 or 4 years from now if you take that deal. It's going to be up to the parent and that student athlete and that family whether they take it or not. But we want to be able to say we looked at it and gave our best advice before a student signs anything. Any questions on that? So currently we have 140 male students, 134 female students in the upper school. With competitive balance, our numbers just came out for next year, and there are going to be some changes because of that number. Our football program, which is very small, and by right should be a Division VII football program. With competitive balance, we'll be moving from Division VI to Division V because of our competitive balance numbers. Volleyball will be moving from Division V to Division IV. Boys soccer will be moving from Division V to Division IV. Girls soccer will be moving from Division IV to Division III. Cross country boys, Division IV from Division III. Girls cross country will be moving from 4 to 3. Girls tennis will stay 2. Girls golf will stay 3. Boys basketball, girls basketball will stay 5. I have not received baseball numbers or lacrosse numbers as of yet. It's BS to me, you know, but what happens with competitive balance numbers, when we have kids transfer in, or we have kids come in from the 9th grade that are not one of our feeder schools, it adds to our multiplier. A kid that is a 2 multiplier counts as 7 students. That's why our number raises up. If a kid transfers in, then we automatically receive another 7. So, as unfair as it may sound, it's a multiplier that was voted on by the member schools of OHSAA, and that's where we are as of right now. Going back to another thing with NIL. With NIL, if a student transfers to receive NIL, that student will be eligible for his or her entire high school career if they can prove that it was a transfer through NIL. That's one thing that I am happy about, because I would hate to have a student come here and then leave after a year or two to accept money from another school. So that's where we are in terms of the NIL. Any questions on the competitive balance piece? Boys has not come out yet. Boys will come out when the spring sports come out, so we probably won't have that till June 8th. So that's just for girls volleyball. So we are going to a new app. Some of the sports are already using it. It's called Ball Frog. It's a really good communication piece. At this point, I'm going to bring Micah, you want to do the introduction here? You guys might want to get your phones out and download, use the QR code on here.
I'm Michael Montecalvo, administrative assistant for Greg in the athletic office and Beth. Ball Frog is an app, and it's got a lot of different purposes and reasons why we chose to go with it, more so than just social media or finding scores and rosters. But probably the biggest reason that we went to the Ball Frog app is for communication purposes. The state of Kentucky, and Mike, our guest here, will share a little bit more about this as well. The state of Kentucky a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, passed a law saying that coaches cannot text student athletes, okay? A lot of states are already in the process of working on bills and laws to follow up, and Ohio will be one of them, because Ohio and Kentucky are pretty aligned in a lot of the things that they do. So the communication piece requires our coaches to communicate through either this app or through a Summit email address. And the reason why is that it can be traced and traceable back to one of the admins here at the school, you know, for athletics, the athletic department, for teachers, or it would be, Kelly Sheese and that administration there. So if anything were to be brought up or accused or insinuated, we can always go back and look and look at what has happened, and that is a protection piece for our coaches, okay, and our administrators, that we can always trace back to things to acquit any of those. But Mike is one of the Ball Frog representatives. Met him. We've worked together for a couple months now getting this set up. Spring was a little bit of a test run, and we are looking to unveil it completely to all sports and to everybody for the upcoming season. He's going to walk it through from a parent perspective, and maybe even share a little bit what the coaches and the admins can do on their side. So Mike Haig coming up from Nashville today.
Thank you so much.
A lot of you teen parents, this is the app that you guys have been using as teen parents.
I'll point that out to you. I'll show 'em. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'm Mike. I'm from Nashville. It's great to be here. You really do have an awesome school to work with. We work with about 400 schools, and I've talked with basically every single one of them. And to be here and to have people like this, it's just really, really awesome and gracious. So thank you, guys. If we are good on this, anybody need to download the app still? Any issues getting in? All good there? Okay. I'm going to switch over to my phone, and like Micah was saying, if you want to have your phone out this entire time, that is acceptable and not an issue. Okay, so I'm going to be, let me take a step back. Everything Micah said is very true. Our goal is, and what I told the coaches, it's really two main things. One, we want to consolidate, make it easier, make it compliant, make it useful for coaches and parents and students to communicate in a way that is, the word is traceable in a lot of states, but also just easy and efficient. If you have children or more than one kid, or they play more than one sports, oftentimes we talk to schools where parents are pulled between 7 different apps just to communicate, including text, including email, and including also check Facebook, because there's going to be stuff there. So our hope is to consolidate that all into one place and give you, as the parents and the students, the tools and the easy place to communicate. With the other side of that being, hey, just celebrating student athletes and the fun stuff that goes on. We say amplify all the good things already happening at your school. So these are pictures, these are updates, these are scores, these are integrating your social media to put it all in one place. So if you're logged in the app and you see Instagram there, that's intentional. So a lot of parents and grandparents tell us they don't want to be in Instagram, but they would love to see the Summit Country Day School Instagram posts. Putting all that in one place is our goal. So 2 main things, that private, or that team level communication for all the stuff that you need to know about for those teams to operate, as well as the fun stuff, the reason we're all here to celebrate kids and have a great experience. So I'm gonna show you 4 or 5 things as a parent that you will have access to, or we encourage you to do. So first things first is on this home page here, we call this the main news feed. I sometimes call this the pep rally of the school. So this is that pictures, news, updates. You'll see the socials integrated there. You can come here for one clean place to see all that. So that's the first place that you'll land. What I encourage you to do right now is, if you haven't already, click on Teams, and then you should see, likely if this is your first time logging in, you'll see just a long list of all teams, although you can also hit that drop down and you can break it down by fall, winter, and spring. When you do that, you can go find, I say first thing, go find your favorite teams, and then you'll see, when you click into it, you'll see a big button that says follow within that team once you click into that. That follow button does 2 main things. It's kind of like favoriting the team. This is my favorite team or my favorite teams. First thing is, it just makes it easier. When you log in the app now, it'll just show you your following teams right away. So if you follow baseball, you care the most about baseball, maybe baseball and basketball. Once you follow those teams, you'll now have a following tab. It defaults you to. The other thing is, when you follow a team, you are now eligible to get push notifications if those are sent out for that team content, for those pictures, news, updates, things like that. I'm seeing a lot of head down, which I encourage and approve of if you're looking at your phone. Any questions so far on finding those teams? No? Good. All right. When you click into a team, this is where you'll start to see, this is some of that public stuff. When I say public, I mean the best example I give is grandma and grandpa live 200 miles away, but they love to see pictures. They want to know the score. They want to see the senior night action, things like that. This is where your coaches and team parents as well that have this admin access will be allowed to post content that you see, like here for, this is the girls lacrosse team, one of our spring teams, content like this. So scores, pictures, things like that. So think of that main news feed, which was all sports. This is that team specific one. You'll see 3 tabs at the top, or 4 tabs at the top, news, and then photos, schedule, and roster. We will work with the athletic department to get the schedule and the rosters added. So that'll be taken care of for the coaches. And then photos are another place where coaches, or I'll cover this here for you, even parents and students can submit photos as well. So you might see, or you should see, this photo icon in the top right corner. If you click that, you can actually submit a photo to be added to the app after it is approved and seen by school leadership, before it ever gets approved. But our pitch there is, a lot of parents tell us, hey, the professional pictures that are on Instagram or maybe a team photographer does are great. We want to see those. But also, we've got parents who attend every game. They're at the road trip. They are at the pep rally. Other parents aren't there. A good old-fashioned iPhone picture is good or great for many instances. So if you have the knack for it and you'd love to submit some pictures, again, they go through a review queue. But if they are approved, they would appear here in this team feed or gallery for your team to see. You can see we'll get the rosters up here. These have some great photos there of the players, and then a schedule as well once those are live for fall, winter, and spring. So main thing for you is follow that team, or open the app, go find your team, follow it, and now you have access to all this, or that you have easier access to all these things. All right, next area I want to show you is click on chat. So this is that private, everything I've shown you so far is more on the public side. This is that more of the private communication between coaches and parents and players. So when you click on chat as a parent, you should see just ask to join next to all these teams. That's expected, because what you're saying here is these are private chats. When I ask to join, I'm kind of knocking on the door of the party. It'll ask who your name is, what your relationship to the team is, and if you are approved for the chat, you are now in the private chat. I'll show you one here in a second. So that's one way. You might also, from your coach, they are able to send a QR code or a custom link for the team chat as well. So sometimes that's how coaches do it. They've got their players in a room, or the coaches in a room, or they're standing up just like I am. They've got a QR code up. That custom QR code might get you access to. So a couple different ways to get into the private chat, including ask to join, which you could do right now. And your coach at some point will approve you. We just rolled this out to all coaches this evening after the spring trial, so they're getting their hands on this right now as well. Once you're in a chat, I'm going to show you one. This is the girls lacrosse team. This is the type of communication that we are now giving the coaches an easy place to send out, which comes to you via push notification and email, if you have your email in here as well. This is the back office stuff that makes a team go. Practice schedules. Here's the packing list for the road trip. Any other type of communication that really kind of makes your team go. Hey, we need concession stand volunteers. The game has changed last minute. Coaches and team admins, sometimes which are parents, are able to post in here and send those out as push notifications to their community of players and parents. So in this case with lacrosse, I'm a parent, so I'm a fake parent. I can't post in here, but there are 71 people in this team chat. That's all the players, parents, and guardians receiving these important messages behind the scenes that they've been using all spring. So again, we just trained the coaches, or the fall and winter coaches, this evening on this. They'll be adopting this over the summer, and hopefully you'll start to see some action there. Your step one, a great step one, is ask to join, which will get you kind of like knocking on the door to the party, and you'll get approval. Or you might see a custom QR code or link here soon. Any questions on that? Yes? Yes. You get a push notification. Your phone app will have the red dot. When you open the app, there's not one there now, but this chat button has a big red number on it, which is your outstanding messages. If you add your email inside of the app, which is not required, when you logged in, you didn't have to put your email in, but if you'd like to put your email in, which is just in the My Account section, you'll also get an email of team chats as well. So that part's optional, but I usually recommend it. Okay, one more thing here in chat. The other way that you might communicate with your coach is this Start Chat button. You should see that. This allows you to send a message directly to a coach or an admin. One important thing here, back to that compliance stuff, every one of these messages, whether it's in the team chat or these group chats, is visible to school leadership. So this is where this really starts to matter, because if a parent or a player needs to communicate with their coach or vice versa, it can happen in here, but every single message is visible to school leadership. That's that traceability thing. So if I hit Start Chat there, it's gonna feel almost like sending a text message. You can attach a file or a picture if you need to, but you are able as a parent to send those to to coaches or app administrators. Now keep in mind, you cannot just message another parent in the school. A player cannot message a player. A parent cannot message a player. All those little things are cut off. The only access that you'll have as a kind of a direct or group message is to send a message to a coach, or a player can as well. A player could not just send a message to their buddy down the hall in the app. Yep. No, I'll cover both of those, because I think what we're saying we do. when I say a player cannot message a player, I mean in a direct like a junior student here cannot just fire a message over to a freshman player in the app. That is not permitted. But that junior. If they're trying to message their friend or buddy. Yep. My answer to that might be the answer to both your questions, which is the other thing that a lot of our coaches do is one second here. We also have the ability, and many coaches do this. So I'm now an app admin. I have like all this stuff in here. Don't worry about this. Your view is going to be a little bit different. But what we do have in here is, for instance, this like women's team lacrosse chat. This is where players can communicate with their coach directly. So this could be the players only chat where players can communicate, but the coach had to create this. What we're preventing is boundaries of just players messaging each other, whether we're good or bad. We typically don't want that, or that's a problem in a lot of states. But if a coach creates a players chat or a coach or parents chat, or we have a lot of concession stand volunteer chat, we can create that, or a coach can help, we can create that so that there can be that flexible communication. So I think the answer is yes, but the key thing is a player cannot just message another player inside of the app. Or a parent could not message a random player or student. That's another thing that we're trying to prevent as well. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, and that's what we can do. I mean, I've got a school in Phoenix, Notre Dame Prep in Phoenix, Arizona. Their parents lacrosse group chat is the most active chat I've ever seen. It is parents communicating about tailgates, exactly what you're saying, happy hours and tailgates. That can absolutely happen in this app. The key thing is that a coach or an admin needs to create that group and include those parents. So. Yes, so absolutely, yes. Yes, the answer is yes. It's just kind of how that gets created is maybe a little bit different, whereas a coach or an admin needs to create that group. And from there, parents can message each other in that. That's exactly like GroupMe at that point. I mean, it's flexible communication between the parents. Uh-huh.
It's not like just individual player, it is like a community team.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what I'm hoping is that if there was this is the women's lacrosse team chat, this could be the women's lacrosse team parent chat or player chat, senior captains. We've got some schools that have cross-team student leaders. That doesn't matter what team you're on, they can be in a chat because they do certain things, leadership. So that type of communication can happen, and we encourage it to happen. It just needs to be created by a team admin first to kind of get it off the ground. So oftentimes what I do with schools is I say, Coach, would you like me to create your parents-only chat? Yes, I create that. There's nobody in it to start, and then we help fill it out with the parents, but or players. But yes, that is definitely kind of what this is aiming to do. Yeah. Yes. Oh. Yes. And with one exception, which is the player or a parent can direct message a coach. So you can message, I sometimes say message up. If you need to message your coach that your child is sick in the hospital, is not going to be at practice today, you can message up because in kind of some of this compliance world, you are messaging up to an administrator, which is allowed. The key thing is a parent who just downloads the app cannot send your son or daughter a random message inside of this app. That's what we're trying to prevent. And also, Billy, the junior football knucklehead, can't just message the new freshman to give him a hard time inside of the app. That type of direct messaging, which is kind of side to side, is not allowed, but you can message up to a coach or an admin. And we create these groups, which I think is what your first part was, creating a group like a freshman basketball parents group chat. Absolutely, yes. Some of our most active chats in the entire platform are parents coordinating stuff, happy hours, tailgates, things like that.
You could have just a freshman group, you could have just a sophomore group, things like that too.
Yeah, most of the coaches in the spring who we kind of gave a trial version of this to had 4 or 5 different admins. You had a team mom, you had an assistant coach, you had another parent that you trusted. So it just has to be one of those who starts the chat. What we're avoiding from the player to player or the parent to parent conversation is a forum for bad mouthing and all that. We want this to be an informative thing, a celebratory thing. So there can be an unlimited number of team admins or team managers, depending on what the coaches would like and who they would like to do it. That team admin or team mom or could start the chat. You can talk about anything and everything in those chats. Like I said, you got the parent, and also just the main team chat is another place where you can send out, hey, can anybody, cover me for concessions? I'm not going to make it. So there are different places that you can get it. It's just, like I said, it doesn't want to be a forum for a bunch of extracurricular.
I've got plenty of football teams that have, like, by position, the coach creates the position level group chat, and with approval from the school, that's how they want to do it, and they have communication from the quarterback's coach and defensive line coach about their stuff in the app. Again, the coach can create that. The players can communicate in there just like GroupMe, but it is tracked and traceable and with the coach's creation. Go. Awesome. All right. So last thing I want to do, in fact, I'll hop back over here. All right, so I'm back in here as a parent, just so you know, I'm out of my admin role. I'm back in here as a parent. If I click on more, this is where you'll see some ongoing static resources that hopefully just we want to make easier for you to access if you're on your phone. Sometimes that's tickets or the Spiritware, things like that. You always see that in the more section. I do want to point out 2 things here. One is that question mark. If you have, let me just click it so you see it. Questions, comments, concerns, ideas. We rather step out into the parent and coach community versus hide behind the wall. So this comes directly to our team, and we share these with the school as well. So if you do have questions, comments, concerns, you can submit those right here and know they get looked at pretty much almost immediately. This is also where in this more section, if you would like, there's that My Account button. When you click on that, that's where you can add that email address that I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to get those team chats sent to you via email as well. Pretty standard account profiles type stuff there. What's that? Yes. We've got some contacts here as well.
Hey, the one thing that we are going to do that this app doesn't do, we're going to have the coaches send a link with directions for athletic events. One thing that we had on the other app was when you guys point on the camera, you click it, and the directions come up. So we're going to add a feature you got where the coach can just send those. You guys hit the button for directions to athletic events. Yeah, we're going to try to make this as user-friendly as possible. Our goal with this is to try to cut down some of the phone calls to the office about corrections and social media. Everything with this is in one spot. We have a lot of different social media places, Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot. Everything, when you have this app, you can click on, and everything pops up on this app. It's on all those social media pages.
Confirm, right? So like, Will doesn't play football, but if you want to go to a football game and click on the event,
Correct. I'll go back to the schedule here because I'll cover two things with the schedule, but that's a great question. So one is on the schedule, this is girls lacrosse, and these are finished now, looking backwards last season, but you can still see a little bit of what this looks like. So when you click onto a game, you can see that there is some information here. We'll work on getting more information here in the fall. And what that means is a clickable, if there's an address added for an away game, that address is clickable and it brings up Google or Apple Maps and you can select your preference. So that address immediately sucks you into either of those map platforms if an address is added here. There is room for that, yeah. Yeah, so inside of a game, or an event, sometimes a better term, there is a field, and again, they didn't see it here, but you can do the address, and also there's kind of an open text field. A lot of schools use that for senior night or whiteout night, things like that. So something like the away team tickets could absolutely be in there as well. The other thing with the calendar I'd like to show you is when you are, all right, back as a parent. When I'm here in the schedule of my team, this is public. This is if you wanted to see what time the football game was, even though your child doesn't play football, you can come to this team schedule. Top right corner, you'll see a little calendar icon. When you click that, that allows you a fairly simple process, as simple as we can make it with the app or the calendar providers, to sync these schedules directly to your personal calendar and have them automate automatically. So if you have Apple or Google, there are instructions here. When you do that, all the events on the calendar get automatically pulled over, and any changes to the app, the calendar in the app, automatically reflect on your app as well pretty quickly. So an event, a time change, a location change, a game's already been canceled in 6 weeks' time, that would automatically be removed from your personal calendar as well, if you do this sync process. If you, for every sport you want to sync to, correct, yeah. I can provide a single link for all sports, which you probably don't want. Probably don't want that, but I could if you wanted. But yeah, for any sport you do want to sync, that you would do it by sport, correct? Yeah, good point, yeah. But you strike that from the record, Your Honor. Yeah, so you still have to log in or whatever that is, but we're going to give you the express lane to get there. Yeah, whether that's the YouTube or the Huddle or tickets for home games or the booster shop. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll repeat that question. So I had mentioned that you can submit your own photos within a team that as a parent or a non-admin could add photos. They do have to get approved by the school first beforehand. So the question was, I think, how do those get approved or where do those go? Yeah, they go into it's kind of a tool on our side that the coaches and the admin, really the school leadership has access to, where they can see the photos, the team it was submitted for, and the submitter, the person who submitted it, and they get to thumbs up, thumbs down that photo. Correct. Correct, yes. Yes. And you might be saying, Mike, I should know if my photos get approved as a parent. And I would say, I agree. And that's one thing that we want to work on is giving you a better feedback loop so that you know, hey, I submitted those photos and now they're live. You know, we want to make that a little bit easier for you. But yes, they go through this team over here before they enter the app, or before they appear in the app. Yep, and you can do up to 10 at a time. Yep. And right now, just photos, no video. But there is video in the app in other places. But for that photos gallery, just photos.
We do now, if there is a no writ, meaning these kids can't be, photographed, we don't have any of those here. So any photos that go, we can approve.
And we don't have to worry about other teams, like, if they're on the field playing against another.
Like away team?
No.
Permission
Never
from,
worry about
okay. Just wanted to make sure.
It's just like the
Yes, ma'am.
Is the spirit shop, is that the teen shop or no? Teen shop is different.
school spirit shop.
Teen,
We're gonna do that, we're gonna look at adding teen shops on there, but right now, that's just the school spirit shop.
Very often we see that private chat or even the public news updates. Spirit Shop is open. They often close on 3 weeks or a month from now. So another reason to be in the app and get those notifications oftentimes is just knowing that Spirit Shop has been open, whether it's in that more section or not. A very common message we see from coaches outward is Spirit Shop is open, or don't forget.
It's our hope that this app will be as user-friendly as using any other app. In terms of scores, in terms of pictures, in terms of social media, in terms of direction. It's our hope that everything that you guys would want would be right here on this app. The communication aspects of parents talking to parents, players talking to players, coaches communicating, game gets canceled, boom, there it goes right here on this app. Game is canceled. So we're hoping that this can provide all that information to be as user-friendly as, anything else we can use. We looked around at a lot of different apps, and we had another app that we X'd out because we felt this was better and safer for our kids in terms of communication. Any other questions? Mike, thank you very much.
Yeah, and if you do have questions, press more and then click the question mark. I promise that goes directly to me and my team, but me first. So I will actually see that, I promise, and you'll likely get a response pretty quickly. Cool. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hey, do you guys, are there any more questions for me in terms of athletics? We went a little over, but I want to get you guys out of here. So I appreciate everybody coming out. Enjoy your summers, because we're definitely going to enjoy ours. We are back in the office. I think I'm back on August 1. It will be when I'm back in the office. But everybody has my cell phone number. If you don't, 513-616-1579. You can always reach me. I do have another phone that when I'm on vacation, that's turned off. But you can always reach me. Always happy to answer questions. We're going to be excited about the summer, but we're also going to be excited about getting back in August, kicking the year off. The Booster Bash. Mike, do you remember the date for the Booster Bash? It's the second Saturday in August. Third Saturday in August, excuse me, is our Booster Bash. We invite everybody to come out. It's a good time to sign up for the boosters. It's a time where, on that Saturday, we had, 22nd? August 22nd? August 22nd. When that's Saturday, we have everybody. We have volleyball playing, boys and girls soccer playing. We do a father and son football game. It's just a good day to come out and be a part of the community. And you can also join the boosters that day. We're excited about having a great fall. Hopefully, our boys and girls soccer team can do a 4-and-3-peat. Football, we're excited about football. We have some new kids in. We're excited about the new school year. Don't get me wrong, we're excited about getting out of here for the summer, but we're excited about the fall. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Other than that, thanks for coming, and see you guys.